Welcome to Small Arms Solutions. Today we're going to do a redo of one of our first videos. There's been quite a few changes in the way we do our videos since then, and we wanted to give you guys a more detailed description of the new Mars rifle. What we have here is a Mars LA. LA means automatic, so this happens to be a selective fire version. However, the model LS, which is the semi-automatic only, is identical to this with the exception of the fully automatic capability. First, we're going to talk about the lower receiver itself, but I do want to say right off the bat that this was a long time coming. For the last 10 years or so, Lewis Machine & Tool offered probably the most advanced upper receiver in the industry. I like to refer to as a Gen 4, which took the M16 Rim-4 to the next level with having interchangeable barrels and interchangeable calibers and operating systems. But they were always a little bit behind on using a standard mil-spec lower receiver. Well, that's finally come to fruition that we actually have now a truly ambidextrous lower receiver. The Mars receiver will start with the ambidextrous QD socket and the receiver extension end plate, so you can then put a sling attachment. We have an ambidextrous selector, both sides. We have the standard magazine release, and we have an ambidextrous bolt catch. This can be used to lock open or to release. Looking on the left side, you have the standard bolt catch, standard location for the safety, as well as an ambidextrous magazine release button. So the rifle between the ambi bolt catch, the ambi magazine release, the ambidextrous selector, and the ambidextrous charging handle, this rifle is fully ambidextrous. Looking at the rest of the rifle, it's what you would expect from LMT. Looking at the rear, we have the SOP mod stock, which is LMT is very famous for use with SOCOM and the M4 A1s as well as the Mark 18s. We have the receiver extension that you notice is a grayish color. This receiver extension is hard coat anodized and then dry film lubricant on here to make it a little bit tighter of a fit. The LMT ergo grip is pretty much standard on all of LMT's rifles, even though they can offer the standard A2 grip. This is the new all-weather trigger guard put out by LMT as well. No matter what kind of gloves you're wearing, you're not going to have much trouble getting to that. Shown is the new LMT backup sight. It's very low profile. It's adjustable for windage as well as elevation. Elevation is ambidextrous on both sides. You do have a folding L-shaped aperture for short range and long range. For elevation, you just rotate the dial upwards. This goes up to 700 meters. But this particular one is specifically in yards, where they also offer one that's in meters as well. The folding front sight as well, flips up. It's more of an AK type profile, but uses a standard 4-position A2 type front sight post. On top of the rifle is the MRP CQB, or monolithic rail platform, close quarter battle version. LMT is the only company in the world to manufacture a complete one-piece upper receiver. This MRP starts as a one solid forging of 7075 T6 aluminum, and by the time you're all done, this is what you have right here. This one has a continuous top rail, and you have rail sections that go all the way around at 9, 3, and 6 o'clock. These particular rail protectors that are manufactured for LMT. There's also QD attachments points. One on this side, one on the other side, one on this side, one on the other side, one on the bottom. Also, you'll notice that there's 2 slots, one on each side as well as the one in the back of the receiver extension. So you have numerous places where you can attach a sling to. To get right into the guts of the MRP, what makes this thing so special is by removal of one screw and loosening of another screw, you can completely change out the barrel. This barrel that we have here is one of the 10.5-inch barrels. You can see it's got a rather heavier profile than a standard M4 Mark 18 barrel. An interesting note on this barrel is the gas block, as you see, is pinned in place. But unlike a standard M16 M4 that has a straight 90-degree gas port drilled in it, this one actually goes down on a 45-degree angle. That's found to increase the overall life cycle of the weapon by, no matter how much gas port erosion you get there, it basically balances the system so you don't get additional gas in there, so you keep your life cycle without having an increase in cycle rate throughout the life of the barrel. Added to this one is a silencer co flash suppressor, which is for use with the silencer co suppressor that I have. we're going to demonstrate how you actually change the barrels out on this. Please also understand that LMT offers this in many different configurations. You can get barrels in 5.56 at the 10.5. You can get 14.5. You can get the 16. This happens to be a 14.5-inch barrel we have right here. Again, we have the 16-inch. The 16-inch actually uses a mid-length gas system rather than the standard carbine, which is more reliable. The gun has easier extraction. So what we're going to do is this is the preset torque wrench that comes with the rifle. So we're going to loosen the one in the back, and we're going to remove the one in the front. Do this backwards here. Helps turn it the right way. Again, the front screw has to be removed, and the rear only has to be loosened. Now we pull the barrel straight out. Again, the 14.5-inch barrel. Now we install the 10.5. You have to make sure that it's fully seated. Sometimes you may have to loosen this up a little bit more.
Okay.
As you're pushing the barrel, you want to make sure you hear a little bit of a click, and observe through the ejection port to make sure that the receiver extension is flush with the inside of the upper receiver. Install the bolt. They're all snug. And now we're going to rotate till we hear it click. Click 1. Click 2. Now we have a 10.5-inch barrel. Also, like any other MRP, this also you can replace the barrel with different calibers. For instance, this particular upper receiver, you can swap out the barrels and go to a 204 Ruger. You can go to a 6mm SPC. Has a SAMI spec one chamber. We also can switch to different barrels as well. We can go with these are standard military chrome line barrels. For more accurate barrels, we can go with a stainless steel barrel. Next thing we're going to take a look at is just the bolt carrier itself. What we have here is the LMT enhanced bolt carrier. We have a standard LMT bolt in it, but this particular carrier was designed at the request of Special Operations. LMT wanted LMT to provide them with a bolt that was significantly stronger than the standard M4 bolt. They also wanted better extraction, better reliability of the system. Looking at the bolt carrier itself, the main changes are the actual cam path itself, which is what locks and unlocks the bolt. One of the problems with going to a carbine length gas system is that it's overgassed because the gas port is closer to the chamber. So the extractor is working a lot harder because it's trying to pull a cartridge case out that's still obturated a little bit. So the extraction is a lot harder, and the extractor has to work more, as well as the extractor spring. What Carl Lewis did was he actually modified the cam track, increasing the dwell time, which means it's increasing the time that the bolt is actually closed, which allows the pressures to drop more, so extraction can be done much easier. That was the first one. That was done by doing a couple things, not just the cam track, but also the way that the gas is introduced into the carrier itself. Instead of having one hole dumped right into the center, it's actually off into two directions. So it disperses the gas evenly inside of the carrier itself in the piston expansion chamber. You also vent more unneeded gas out here as well with a third hole, and also the location of the existing exhaust port has been moved. It's been moved forward. What that does is it allows, as the bolt's coming back to the rear, it allows more gas to be vented outside of the ejection port than it does to have gas that's vented inside of the receiver, keeping it a little bit cleaner. The bolt, this is a standard mil-spec type bolt. However, it's not standard. LMT does use better materials than the mil-spec calls for. These are magnetic particle inspected after they're proof tested with a 70,000 psi proof cartridge, and then magnetic particle inspected to ensure against stress fractures, which any good military manufacturer would do. You're giving your customer some extra insurance there as well. Again, there is also the enhanced bolt, which is made of a different material, and what really sets it apart is the fact that it has dual ejector springs, dual extractor springs, instead of just one, which evens the loadout and it increases the life of the extractor significantly. Also, the extractor has significant more grab on the actual rim itself. The extractor is nicknamed the lobster tail extractor. That's about what it looks like. Also, the bolt locking lugs are they have some relief cuts in them to help them with durability. It's also made of a unobtainium material. LMT does not divulge what material that they use to make that bolt, but it is more expensive because the material is harder. It's a lot harder on the machines when they make it. And that bolt is also proof tested, mag particle inspected, and it has a proprietary nickel finish on it. That's probably one of the finest bolts I've ever seen. I've been trying to break one for many years, and I pounded it full auto and everything. I have not been able to break one. But this is a combination with both is a significant reliability enhancement to any carbine length or short length barrel. If you have a selective fire rifle in a 20-inch barrel, you do not want it because the dwell time is off and the rifle will not function on fully automatic, but a lot of you guys are not really worried about that. But I want to tell you what the actual design intent and what this is meant for. It never really saw any adoption by SOCOM because Colt had actually fixed the problem by then. It was a short run problem, and the military was happy with what they had. However, the other thing that was against the enhanced bolt carrier group was the military is very big on interchangeability. It wasn't interchangeable with the M16A2 and the A4. Again, it would not function on auto or burst with the 20-inch barrels. However, it would with the 14.5-inch carbines as well as the 10.5 Mark 18s. But unfortunately, our government has a lot more interest in interchangeability than it does introducing new parts into the inventory, even though that it would make a big difference on the reliability of the rifle. The optic that I chose to use on this rifle was a DI Optical model DCL30. This is a red dot sight, which as you can see, the adjustments for up and down and left and right. It's made of aluminum. It has a dial on the side, which enables you to have brighter or dimmer optic depending on what time of day it is, whether it's day or night. You can adjust it how bright the red dot is. It's on an Armstrong lever mount. This is an excellent optic. It's very durable, quite reliable. I've been using this on several rifles recently, and I have nothing but good things to say about it. The next big question on the Mars rifle is when. It was introduced at the SHOT Show. Well, as of this video we're doing right now, LMT is building the first batch of them that they've had on back order. So they are being manufactured right now. There's probably limited numbers due to a current military contract LMT has. They are well worth the wait for somebody who is even not left-handed. I find that the ambidextrous magazine release is really good, and I do like the ambidextrous bolt release. It's right where it needs to be. It can be used to lock it open as well as to release it. The charging handle is excellent. It's easily used by either right or left-handed. And of course, the regular MRP system's been out, for over 10 years. But we still go over to show you how advanced it is. Again, this is the Gen 4 rifle, as far as I'm concerned. It's the most advanced system that's in the industry right now for a direct gas rifle. Everything on it's been improved. It serves any military or law enforcement or any other use perfectly. We're going to take the Mars rifles in the range and do some shooting with it. We're going to do both fully automatic and semi-automatic and use a few different magazines. We'll see how she works. We're going to take a look here at the LMT Mars rifle and see how she fires. We're sort of lucky to have actually a selective fire Mars rifle, so we're going to be firing both on semi and fully automatic. The first magazine we're going to use is actually made in Bulgaria, IK. This is a 30-round magazine, but they also make a 40-round magazine that have been extremely high quality. Magpul PMag Generation 2 with some Portuguese production M855 ball ammunition. We're going to try these on auto. This is a Hera Arms magazine. You can see the ammunition through the spine in the back. This is made in Germany. I've had a lot of significant good luck with these. This ammunition is ZQI ammunition made in Turkey. Failure to feed. Two failures to feed. Might not like this magazine. She didn't lock open in the last round either. And this is why, looking at the magazine, you can see where the bolt catch actually is scraping on here. So a little bit of that needs to be trimmed out. So there's the explanation for that failure to lock open. Here we have a X Products 50 round drum magazine. These are extremely reliable. I've had very good luck with them. The only negative aspect about these is they don't lock open on the last shot, but I've consistently had very, very good luck with them. And this ammunition is Federal Lake City at 193 ball. Works very well. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please click like and please subscribe. Thank you.